What is up, family? Welcome back to another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker, Jeff Marconette Jr. Sorry, I'm having fun, but I'm very excited for tonight. I'm pretty pumped up about tonight's guest because she is going to be an amazing guest. I promise you that. But first of all, I'm going to say thank you guys for joining us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. Also, please keep the thumbs up, the hearts, the frowny faces, the cry faces. Heck, you can even get mad at us. Just keep those comment or those reactions coming. Also, please keep the comments coming because we want to have more of a conversation than just a presentation. But with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage hold on. The woman, the myth, the legend, Stephanie. Hey,
Hey,
Stephanie. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here with you. I love the intro, love the energy.
Well, I am so glad you love the energy and love the intro because the intro was for you. So, if you would like to take it away, go through a short introduction about yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do. I'm going to be inviting a few people on my phone, guys, so I'm looking down, but I am paying attention.
You look down and they can look at me. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, everyone. My name is Stefani Havel, and I'm the CEO and founder of the Sales Strategy Network. And I am also a sales strategist. What does that mean? What do we do at the Sales Strategy Network? Is I help businesses and entrepreneurs communicate about their business in a way that connects and resonates and drives results. I use a tool called the DISC behavior model, and that helps you understand your clients' needs, their communication styles, so you can turn those interactions into opportunities and leads into loyal clients. I'm based out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, right up in the Midwest. So I'm sure for those of you not from the Midwest, you'll pick up on my Minnesota twang. But super excited to be here and yeah, talking about I spent 25 years in corporate America and how I left that and started my own company just a little bit over 2 years ago.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for doing that because I'm trying to get people to join, so I appreciate you getting into that. But I would like to extend a hello to my dad who's watching from across the street, and then my friend April who is watching from just a couple miles away.
Hi,
And
Dad.
then
Hi, April.
we we also have Ben Bruce Efane Jr., who is watching all the way from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So this is an international show. I'm pretty pumped up about that. And it's always great to have you guys on here. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. Keep them coming. And April says hi.
Hey,
So
April.
that's pretty cool. But so I know from my own background, you see, when I was 17, I was in a life altering car accident. I was hit by a semi truck and left in a coma for 2.5 months. I spent 3.5 in the hospital, and I wasn't supposed to be walking right now, but I am. I have made lots of progress, but I have learned through my whole recovery that there are things that have to be grown through instead of just gone through.
Mhm.
And I think that is true for everyone. They have all had to grow through something in order to get to where they are now. So, has there been anything that you have had to grow through to become a sales strategist?
Great question. And I'm going to have to steal that, what you've grown through or gone through. I love that. So, yeah, to get where I'm at, probably, the most recent was I worked in corporate America for 25 years. I was in sales and leadership and management, and I was very successful. And the mortgage financial world changed, and the company decided to reorganize and restructure, which caused the elimination of my job. And at the time, I was 55 years old, and that was a tough pill to swallow, right? Because I thought that was my life. I was just going to work at the bank forever, and I was going to retire from there with a nice 401k, and I was good with my corporate benefits and my corporate salary and everything. So at 55 years old, I had to figure out, okay, now what, right? Try to compete for another corporate job. Or what? So that's just when I decided to take all the skills that I learned for 25 years working in corporate, and then all the skills that I learned in my younger life. I say I've been in competitive sales for 5 decades. So yes, I started when I was 6 years old, working with my family, my grandfather. So yeah, so all the experience that I've had over my time certainly has taught me a lot about what I know today, and also was very instrumental for me. What I learned in my younger years was really instrumental for me when I was in corporate America. But all of it just led me to, when my job was eliminated, to just decide to go out on my own and start my own company. My mom was an entrepreneur at 22, my grandparents. So I come from a long line of family of entrepreneurs, and my dad was a very successful sales leader inside of corporate. So I feel like I had the perfect mix of preparation to prepare me to start my own company. So yeah, to answer the question, that was probably the most recent thing that I've had to groan through.
Now, I want to point something out that a lot of people just go through things and they think that things are happening to them.
Mhm.
But I am a person that believes that things are happening for you. And when you got laid off from that job that you had been working at for 25 years, that gave you the opportunity to start your own business. Now,
Absolutely.
would you go back to working in corporate America now since you have been your own boss?
No, absolutely not. And I agree with you, Jeff. I always say, um, what is happening to me is for me, and I believe that. And there was moments when my job. I mean, I was very fortunate in the company. I had a great severance package and benefits, so I was financially okay, and I had been financially responsible over the years. So, but there was moments where I had my doubts of whether I could make it or not, because it's tough. I mean, if there's entrepreneurs out there, there's a lot to do and a lot to take on, and and a lot of things I didn't know, and that I had to learn about. That I was so used to having when I was in corporate America. I had a marketing team. I had a full-time assistant and a compliance team and a financial support team and a budgets and corporate credit cards, expenses, and all that kind of stuff. So it was definitely a learning experience for me. So I did have moments where I thought, who am I to think that I can do this, or I'm too old, or, all the different excuses that we might tell ourselves, or the reasons why we don't think we're going to be successful. But just time and time again, I find myself, at those moments when I have doubts, and, just give it up to God, and just my faith, and know that what is meant for me will show up for me, and it continues to show up for me time and time again. So There's no going back. I'm on Stefani 2.0 right now, is what I call it.
That's awesome. I find that very refreshing. I mean, people don't want to. They a lot of times people think that they are too old to start something new. That
Mhm.
they can't go back to school. They can't learn anything new because they are past their prime. They have done what they are going to do for their entire life, but they don't realize that there's another side to themselves. They don't realize that they can accomplish more. And I want to help people see that they can accomplish more because I'm a person that believes that people were made for something more.
Mhm.
That we weren't made to work a 9 to 5 job, making someone else money.
Right.
We were made for our own purpose. And a lot of times that is difficult to find. I understand that. But it is there. And it's like I said, going to be hard to find. I get it.
Mhm.
But just hang in there because it's coming.
Absolutely.
So I have to ask, how is it that you decided to be a sales strategist as your entrepreneur journey?
Yeah, great question. So when I was in corporate America, my job was always, a sales leader and primarily again in the mortgage and finance sector. And it was very strategic. We had to, it was always, how do we stay ahead of our competition? How do we, stay ahead of the competition? How do we find new ways to innovate ourselves? How do we find clients? How do we stay relevant, stay in front of our clients? So those are all strategies, right? So a lot of all throughout my career, I had to strategize, and not only for sales for my team, but also recruiting team. Early on in my years in the banking sector, I was responsible for turning over teams. So what I would do is I was hired, and they would have one of our bank locations that was failing. Maybe there's I always tell the story. One of my first assignments is they called me and then say I was probably 5 days on the job at a new bank, and they said, "We have this bank location. The bank manager has robbed the bank, and she stormed out, and it's in complete chaos. And the employees are ready to quit. Customers, there's things circulating. So I had to walk in, right, when there's a lot of unrest amongst the customers and the community and the employees. And so I had to, turn it around. I had to figure out, strategize on how I was going to rebuild this bank location, repair the reputation of the bank and the community, instill confidence in the employees that I was going to be there for them and that we could turn it around. And I did within 8 months. I turned that branch around. I recruited, I fully staffed it, and it was one of the highest performing branches in the company. And then they decided that, hey, you did pretty good with that. Then they started finding other locations that were failing. Um, and that was my job then again to just go out to different branches. Some branches I went into, and just logistically in the layouts of the branch, I orchestrated a full-on reconstruction of a bank that had a really old vault, and it wasn't conducive to the environment. The employees were throwing out their back and shoulders trying to lift up these, you know, vault doors and stuff. So all throughout my career, I had to strategize, right, on how to build a team, rebuild the community, the clients, and ultimately gain revenue for the bank and obviously for myself as well. So that's where I just felt like that title just encompassed all of what I had done over the past 25 years and really over the past 5 decades of selling. I mentioned earlier, I started working when I was 6 years old with my grandfather at a farmer's market. And if you've ever been to a farmer's market, everything's the same. Everybody has the same produce, same amount, same price. So how do you get people to come to your stand versus somebody else's? So, my grandpa and I had a strategy. My grandfather would talk about how he planted the vegetables, how he watered them, fertilized, sunshine, the greenhouses. I gave out recipes. My mom was an amazing Italian cook, and I would talk about how she prepared vegetables. And so that was my strategy to get people to come back, because the more vegetables we sold, that was the less that we had to pack up on the truck and and go home for the day. So the less we had left on the counter, the less we had to pack up and sell. So I learned at a young age how to strategize, like what was going to work to sell out our vegetables versus all the other stands. So that is, again, how I just thought, I'm good at strategizing and I love sales. It's in my blood. And so the two were just fitting to become a sales strategist. So now I just help people and teach other people all of the same skills that I've learned all along.
That is awesome. I find that very insightful, and like the way you broke it down into a strategy for selling even the vegetables at the farmer stand when you were 6 years old. That is amazing. I love that story.
Thank you.
But let me extend a hello to Brenda Ring, who's watching from Leavenworth, Kansas. And then we have Robert Shallow, who is watching from Indianapolis. And then we have Jesse White, who is watching from North Carolina, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure. No, Kansas. Sorry. She's in Salina, Kansas. I had to try and figure that one out real quick there. But so just to say that this has been an amazing story so far. Thank you for sharing this story with everyone. Hopefully, people out there are learning something from your wisdom. But I'm curious, like, all right, let's say somebody else is going through something in their life. And just like you said at the bank that was going through all that turmoil, and after the bank manager had robbed it, which I'm sorry is kind of funny, but how can somebody turn their life around using the same techniques that you did in the bank?
Yeah, great question. I always go back to just simple gratitude, right? There's always, always, always something to be thankful for and grateful for. And sometimes it's digging deep and finding out what your skills are. And everyone's different. But really lean into the skills that you have, give grace and gratitude for what they are. So, is it are you good at, I've always been really good at connecting people. I'm more of an extroverted personality. And so I just always, I would kind of leverage my kindness and grateful that I had a voice, that I had a mouth to talk and ears to listen and eyes to see, right? Just those simple things for me. And still to this day, like I put my hand on my chest, my heart. I'm like, okay, still beating, right? And in my breath, I still have breath in my lungs. And as long as, my heart is beating, I got breath in my lungs, I can press forward and lean into the skills that you have. We've all learned different skills, whether some people are really good at, logistics, or, just figuring things out. Like these people that can do like Rubik's cubes and puzzles. I last about a minute doing a puzzle and I'm frustrated. Forget it. It's not my thing. A Rubik's cube, I don't get it. Reading maps, I don't get it. But some people, they're really good at that. That's their strength. So leverage into it. Never underestimate the skills and the strengths that you have. And for a long time, I was inside of a corporate world told that, I was too much. Tone it down a little bit, the loud voice, the blonde hair, the sparkles, the red lipstick. It was, always too much, too much, too much. But and that's part of why I didn't want to go back to corporate, is because I realized that, who I am resonates with people, and I have a voice and I need to use it. And toning down my voice and being somebody who I'm not didn't work well. And so, how did that work at the bank, right? When they were doing all the corporate, they didn't follow all the rules, right? Clearly, they violated the rules and the policies. That's how the manager was able to rob the bank. But I just learned, again, even at a young age, just communicating with people, talking to people, using my voice that I was given to talk to people and just be genuine, and then listen to what people want, what's important to them, what do they need. And so that's just really carried me through all my years, is one, just having gratitude for just the simple gifts that I have, to see, to smell, to taste, to talk, to hear, to sing. I can't sing very good, but I like to sing. So that basic gratitude, and then just, gratitude for those skills. And I think, you portray that as well. What you went through was, incredible. And now but you still have a voice, and you're using that voice to help other people. And that's a beautiful gift that not everyone has. Not everybody's comfortable or confident sharing their voice. And so that is a gift. It is a gift to be able to speak and be a little quirky, be a little crazy, be a little, out
Be
there.
a little Stephanie. Oh.
Yeah. But I don't know how to be any way else. Any other way I've tried, and it never really worked. And so I just decided that this is, who God made me to be, and I'm just going with it.
Yeah. I'm sorry for this, but there's going to be a shameless plug in here for a minute, but that's all right. So I noticed that you talked a little bit about gratitude there in your talk, or in your number one way that you reframe things and are able to change the things around. But I actually have written 2 guides to gratitude. Now, these are free for you guys. All you have to do is go to my website, which is www.jeffmarconettejr.com/members, and you can download the guides to gratitude. Now, the original guide to gratitude is intended for people over the age of 15. The other guide to gratitude, entitled Your Superpower, is intended for kids 10 through 14. And I'm working on one intended for kids younger than 14 or younger than 10. So stay tuned for that one, but go get your guides to gratitude. And then we actually have 2 questions from Ben Bruce in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He says, in details, what does it take to be a successful sales strategist? And what are the frequent challenges faced by you or a sales strategist?
Okay, good question, Ben Bruce, and thank you for being here, and thanks for asking your question. So number one, what does it take to be a successful sales strategist? Well, one of the first questions that I ask every one of my clients that I work with, it's a coaching client or a leader of a company that has come to me and said, we want to grow. Sales are stagnant, or sales are slumping, or we need to do something different, or we want to take our business to the next level, and we don't know how to go. We don't know where to go or what to do. So the first thing I always say is, tell me what is the three most important things. What are the 3 things that are most important to you, right? I need to understand what is important to you, because I can look at your business or your industry or whatever it is, the product or program or service that you offer, but I need to know what's important to you in moving your business forward. What's important to you in growing revenue? Is it, just moving products? Is it For me, when I was inside of corporate America, what was important was obviously revenue for the company, which would result in more revenue for me, and having my team succeed. Not only build up my team individually, so they were successful individual performers, but we performed well as a team. And those were the three things that were the most important to us, or to me. Right now, it was different for everybody else. Some people said, I want to be successful and I need to make enough money so that I can feed my family and take my kids on a vacation that they never had. Or I want to buy my parents, I want to help take care of my parents, or I need to pay off debt, whatever it was, right? We all have different things that are important to us. So that's really important to understand. What do they value? So the clients that hire me is, what do you value? What's important to you? And where do you want to go with your business? What's important to you about growing your business? Because, you can always say, I want more money, right? Okay, well, why do you want more money? What is that going to do for you? That's what I want to really understand is the why. Why do you want something? Why do you want to grow a big sales team? Well, because maybe you want to be able to take time off and not worry about your business. I don't know, whatever it is, I need to understand why. And why that's important to you, because that's what I base everything on. And then the second part of the question was, what do I face?
Yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I thought I'd remember, but
what is the most frequent challenges you faced as a sales strategist?
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I have something that's necessarily frequent. But a lot of times it comes down to implementation or belief that it's needed. I do a lot of free consulting, and I'm happy to do it. I encourage people to book time on my calendar. I'm happy to talk with anybody for 30 minutes about their business and what's going on. And sometimes it's frustrating because a lot of people, they already have all the answers. And I'm like, well, then why are you calling me? I just wanted assurance that they're on the right path. But I believe there's always room for improvement. Nobody's perfect. I mean, Tony Robbins, I love the man. I mean, he's 77 years old and he's still involved in personal development. He still has a mentor because he's always wanting to get better. So sometimes it's frustrating where people just aren't willing to invest the time or the money. A lot of times people say, yep, I got it. I think I can do it. And I always ask for permission to check back in 3 months, 6 months. And oftentimes I check back. They don't always answer. And typically I know why. Because they're still in the same place as they were 3 months and 6 months. Sometimes when I call them, they're like, okay, you're right. I surrender. I tried it on my own and it didn't work. And they realize that they need that accountability partner. I mean, very few people can, we're not meant to do it alone, right? This world, we're not meant to go at things alone. And the biggest thing that I find, Ben Bruce, to answer your question again, a little bit more detail too, is, I tell people like most business owners are really good at their business, right? So like I work with a manufacturing company. They're amazing at the manufacturing and the product and the production. But then when it comes to selling their business, that's not their strength. And that's okay, right? They think logistics and processes and systems and outcomes and everything like that. But they don't know how to communicate and sell their business so they could keep the business coming in, or communicate, to their team and their clients about how we want to grow. And so that's where, so you need somebody in a sales strategy. So I can help you with your sales strategy. So you can focus on the manufacturing or the product or the program or the service that you're so good at, right? I want you to focus on what you're good at. Let me come alongside of you and show you, okay, here's some ways that you can grow your business. Here's some other opportunities. Oftentimes the people are like, I never thought of that. It's okay. That's what I'm here for. That's why you hire me. That's why you pay me, because that's my job, is to strategize and see what lanes you haven't gone down or what path you can now take in your business to grow and to get you to the level that you want. But again, going back to, I need to understand why that's important to you so I can figure out what is the best strategy that's not only going to get you to where you want to go, but also resonate with why you want to get there. So
that makes perfect sense. So I didn't even realize it, but we're actually at time already.
Yes.
But I want to ask you, first of all, before we go, Well, first of all, Ben Bruce had awesome answers.
Thank
So
you.
I know he appreciates answers that are deep and everything that way. But I want to ask you if you have any contact information you would like people to have.
Yep, absolutely. It's on the screen, but you can visit the salesstrategynetwork.com. And I also have some free guides there. So, some guides on communication and also how to perfect an elevator pitch. Again, a lot of people good at their business, but they don't know how to communicate. They've got, 60 seconds in the elevator with the president of the company that they want to sell their product or program to, and they don't know what to say. So you can go ahead and download that. And there's also a link to my calendar if you want to set up 30 minutes and just say, hey, this is where I'm at. Can you give me some strategies, right? How do you see my business? Here's what I'm doing, or here's an issue that I'm trying to solve for. I'm more than happy to give you my time. No pressure, no pitches. Like just, I love it because again, then too, that strengthens me, right? When I can hear people in other industries from other countries and places and industries, it only strengthens me and challenges me, which I love. So you can visit the salesstrategynetwork.com for your free resources, book time in my calendar, or you can directly email me at info@stefanihavel.com.
Man, that is very kind of you. I know a lot of people will appreciate that, but I know a lot of people won't take advantage of that advantage. So it's weird, but
You got to want it.
yeah, thank you though for offering that to people. I find that to be really cool of you. But I need everybody out there, including you, Stephanie, to do me a favor this week, next week, and for the rest of your life. I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when those seconds are going to run out on your one life. I'll see you guys back here next Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time for a new episode. But until then, you have a fantastic week and thank you so much, Stephanie. I look forward to our future talks.
Awesome. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure, Jeff.
You can stick around, Stephanie.
Okay. I didn't know if you want to add anything else or,
No,
okay.
but this runs